All right, we're live. It's been a minute. I know, guys. I know it's been crazy busy. I finally got a few days off, which was really nice. Feeling rejuvenated. Took 3 days off, but we got a big show today. Really, really excited about this one. We're going to be talking Missouri Horror Con, which is close by, basically an hour and a half, 2 hours away from me. My family's going to be there. My guys are coming, and it's they were doing the anime and all that other stuff, and now they're doing the horror. And they happen to have a whole bunch of aliens cast there, and our buddy Carl's in the area, so we had to figure something out, and we did. But we're going to talk about Missouri Horror Con, so please welcome. Let me get the applause ready. I'm real rusty, guys, real rusty now. Where do we got it? I don't even see it anymore. They keep changing this around on me every single time. Oh, here we go. All right, got it. All right, so without further ado, this guy's handling all the media and social media for Missouri Horror Con. Was just talking to him quite a bit. Really excited to see him at the show and talk to him more today and see what they got planned. And he's got a special surprise he already told me about. So, ladies and gentlemen, from Missouri Horror Con, and welcome Joey Mills.
Hey, everybody.
Got it.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you. I was talking to you beforehand. We got Carl waiting down there, but I wanted to at least talk to you for a minute, give you a chance to tell everybody about this event and what you guys are doing real quick. But let everybody know who you are and what you're up to here.
Yeah, so Missouri Horror Con, what we've done about 3 years ago, I believe it was, we started doing a Comic-Con in Springfield, Missouri Comic-Con. And so that was kind of our early part of the year, first quarter show. It's been fantastic, growing every year. We're actually having to find a new venue because it's too big. So we always did something in the fall we wanted to do. So we started off just doing anime stuff, anime convention. We did a couple of those, but you really kind of narrow down your potential audience when you pick something niche like that. And so with this show this year falling in the middle of October, we thought, wow, this is the time to dip our toes into the horror scene. So this last Missouri Comic-Con, actually, that was in February, we kind of started booking some horror and horror adjacent guests. It went really well. And so that's when we announced, all right, cool, we're going to do the Missouri Horror Con. And it's just been nonstop with folks are excited. They're ready to go. They've got tons of people they want us to bring out. We can't bring everybody, sorry. But yeah, a lot of buzz, a lot of folks, especially down here in this corner of the state. There's a good sized horror community. There's a good sized independent filmmaking community, and a lot of the stuff they crank out is horror and horror related as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're really looking forward. This is our first horror con. It won't be our last. So yeah, we're ready to get going.
I think it's awesome that you guys are expanding and testing out, as we get to the Halloween season, some of the horror aspect, because there is a big fandom, as you said, and you saw with the indie community. I deal with a lot of those filmmakers as well, and a lot of them are doing some great things. And I always say this horror has always been indie.
Yeah.
I mean, Terrifier was an indie movie. Really, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Evil
Their
Dead.
budgets weren't big budgets, and I'm happy to always see more and more of them. So the indie, and there's been some new films popping out. My good friend Nicole Vegas and Sean C. Phillips just did what's it called? Desert Fiends, which is really doing well on Tubi and everything like that. So it's awesome you guys are really supporting and branching to do that. And I have been at 2 out of the 3 shows. I think I wasn't able to make it last year, but I was at the first 2, and I was telling you, great time, great venue, great people, really cool setup. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said to you, you guys, I messaged you, my friend Carl Toop, who was the alien xenomorph, the alien warrior from 1986 Aliens. You got Michael Biehn going and Jeanette Goldstein. I'm like, we got to have the Xeno there. And you guys were kind enough to invite Carl and let him come sit with me and hang with me. So speaking of this guy, if you guys haven't met Carl, probably one of the nicest, coolest people ever. I was telling Joey, if there's one guy I could pick that could sit with me anytime, always a welcome at, it's this man right here, Carl Toop, one of the greats. Welcome.
Hi.
Carl.
You got it right, Joe.
What I almost got it right on what?
The applause.
I did. You know
Yeah,
what?
You're not very good at that.
No. Ask Beatrice. Beatrice, yeah.
I don't know why I'm saying anything. Hopefully, it's all this technical stuff. I just, I let you do it.
StreamYard keeps changing it up, and it's really not that user friendly. And I can't walk it. Oh, I can't walk it. Yeah, I gotta go and search and try to find things, and then they moved it around. So I at least had it somewhat pulled up for you. That's why it wasn't as slow as it was for Joey. And then I had to ramble on, to try to find it and keep it going. So that was a tough situation. But welcome, Carl.
Thank you very much. It was my little home away from home. This place. It's enjoy it. So good to see you.
I know. You've been on the show 3-4 times now, right?
Yeah, we're getting up there. Yeah.
Everybody loves Carl.
Oh, Tony.
But I think it's so great that these guys are bringing the Aliens cast, and like I said, with Michael Biehn and Jeanette Goldstein. I know you're still very close with Jeanette as well, so it'll be good for you to see her.
Yeah, no, Jeanette's great. I know Michael Biehn as well, but I've done a few more things with Jeanette. Well, we'd had a great time in Spain. We were in Spain last year. We did a film. It was more like a film festival rather than a con. And we had a great time over there. It was the first time I'd seen her since we'd done the film like 39 years ago. So, we had a great time. It was because you never know how these people are going to react to, because the main cast have been going around for quite a few years during the convention, so they've been together. So I'm the new guy. I started back in 2019. I've only done a few because I'm over in Europe. So I don't see them that often. So I wasn't really sure how they're going to sort of take me into their little ring of, the alien system thing. But they've been brilliant. And Jeanette, we had a great time with, and all the others I've had a great time with. But Jeanette, particularly, had a good weekend. And Carrie as well, I met last year, who played Newt. Met her last year after 38 years. Now I really didn't know how she'd sort of greet me. She was only like 7 when we did the film, and I was always in costume. We passed a brilliant weekend together. It was, I'm in touch with her now on a regular basis. So it's great. And they've really taken me into the whole alien thing. So it's great.
The man behind
the Joe, because it's great. It's reuniting us all the time. It's brilliant. Thank you.
It's been kind of like a reunion for you with a family that probably after you filmed it, and because conventions weren't what they are now.
Oh, not at all. No. I wish I'd known, because I grabbed all the costumes. But we mind you, they haven't survived that long, because they were made out of latex or something. They've all disintegrated, except a couple they've managed to preserve. But we weren't actually allowed to keep any of the costumes because they were taking them back to the States, because it was all filmed in London. And I said, could I have some of the costume? And they said, no, we've got to take it back to the States just in case we need to refilm any bits, which they didn't have to do because we've done such a good job in London. And so all those costumes got sort of basically chucked away. And I think a few of them were saved that collectors have got now. So, But no conventions, I don't think they really existed then. I think it was, if you wanted an autograph to anyone, you had to go to the stage door or wait outside the studios and sort of beg in the rain to get, especially in England, in the rain, get a signature or autograph from anyone. So these conventions are great because they do bring these big names you've got coming and people can get their autographs in a bit more comfort and in a nice environment. I mean, I've never been to a convention where I felt threatened or I've never seen any hostility from our side. Maybe Joey sees some of it.
No, actually,
stage, but
the con crowd is awesome. They are some of the best.
They really
people.
Are. Yeah. And you can come into these conventions and just be who you want. You do what you want. Something that's not harming anyone, and everyone's just there to have a good time. And even me, I'm pretty shy myself, and I've been out of the limelight, as they say, and then coming into it transforms me coming into these conventions, because it is a place where you can just enjoy yourselves and have fun and feel safe. I think there's fewer and fewer places we can actually do that, where it was with massive people like that. So it's great. It's great. It's great work you do, because there's so much work that goes into these conventions. Creating them, just getting people coming in through the doors. it's such hard work. You know, you're in the back. We don't see it all, but we know it's going on. So, but you know, it just gives that great atmosphere out front, and you know, it's brilliant. So, well done.
Well, Joey and Joey does the social media and the marketing and all that other stuff. So he's really doing a great job out there.
That's non-stop because you know you've got to answer people, you've got to keep on top of it, and if you don't answer people, they get upset, and you know it's really got to keep on top of it. Don't know how you do it, but there you go.
Yeah, well, and this company in particular has grown. I think this year we had 14 conventions scheduled. Wow. We had to cancel one because of snow, but we're 20 plus going into next year. So yeah, the whole convention scene is just growing. People are looking for something to do to get out. This company in particular, we try to find the places where the big companies, the big convention corporate things, they're not going to go to Little Rock. They're not going to come to Springfield. They're not going to do those smaller ones. So when we can bring that full experience to a smaller area, people go nuts. When's the next time Carl's going to be in Springfield? You know, now's your chance to come meet him. So
yeah, but I think the smaller shows, it allows the fans to spend more time with the names that they come to see. You know, whereas some of these big shows, it's just the queue and queue and queue. That's all they do for the whole weekend. Some of these people. Yeah. But you know, like me being with John on the stand, it's brilliant because you know there's no big queues all weekend. You know, they're not having to. They can just pop along, see us, have a chat, do what we need to do, and then they go off. You know, it's great. And whereas you know if they're with all these big shows and they're just having to queue for hours to see one person, it's. So I think the smaller shows are a great way of developing the con. Getting away from the two big ones, making it a bit again more family orientated, and where we people can communicate a bit more easily, whereas rather just queuing all weekend. So that's great. I'm sure you'll have queues all weekend anyway.
And hopefully, if I've done my job well, yes, we will.
Yeah, exactly, which is great. You know, that's what we need. But there's just a different atmosphere in the smaller ones. I think it's that's what I think. So, but yeah.
I think it's amazing. One of the favorite things when I sat with Carl, though, and this is what I'm looking forward to, is a lot of them haven't met Carl because he's all the way out in France. So when he's in the States, it's more rare. Although I keep telling him he's got to move here, open a restaurant, open Zeno's restaurant, open the Alien Warrior or something. But he'd do well over here. But all joking aside, some of the items and merchandise and the cosplayers that come in with this alien stuff. That is a lot of fun, and Carl is so good with the fans.
Well, the work, the dedication they put into it, because it's not easy. It's not easy creating this stuff. And I think we had one last year, the Queen. I think he won one of the cosplay things. He came as the Queen alien.
Yeah,
incredible the work he put, and he'd adapted it. It was his own style, so he'd adapted it into. You knew exactly who it was, the character, but he'd adapted it into his way of art form, his art way of thinking. So that was great. We spent a good time with him, good chat, asked how he did it and that, and he explains all the work that goes on behind it. And then you get the kids coming along, and there was one kid, he came along and he'd only just started his costume, but because I was there, he really wanted me to see it. So he brought, I think it was the head he'd come along with. He had the body suit on, but it hadn't been finished. And he came along with the head, and he was, that made my day because it made his day, so it made my day. And just the work that, and his father was with him. And he said, no, he's actually done all this work himself. I think he was probably about 9 or 10. And I couldn't have done that at that age. Mind you, those days, 8 or 9 was sort of like 4 and 5 year olds today. But
well, these kids now with all the technology, they can research it all and they absorb it, and they're just getting better and better. These young guys are starting younger and younger.
Nice. Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Yeah, one of the things that's great about the whole Aliens cast is being there. You'll be doing the photo ops as well, right?
Yeah, we usually have fun on those. It's again, it's just another way of being connected with the fans again. The photographs with them, and it's usually fairly quick. We sort of pass people along fairly quickly, but we try and make some contact with them at some point, handshake or whatever. But it makes everyone happy doing it. So which is which is brilliant. So.
Well, you're humble. Carl's one of those guys you can just see, and one of the things I love about him with the fans is you can tell, like, when they're coming up with something that he hasn't seen, or these collectibles, or just in general, his excitement to meet the fans, and that's a guest that I always love, and that's one thing you really
it's an honor. You know, as people have made an effort to come and see you. You know, it's for me, it's an honor that they do it. I'm not just saying that because to be nice, but it is. It amazes me that people come and see me, and you know, I am understanding it a bit more now because of the Alien, the power of the film, the franchise Aliens. But you know, because I did the film, went on with my career, so the Alien thing, I hadn't really taken much notice of it. But now I've gone back into it and just seeing how popular the whole thing is. Especially now with Alien Earth coming out, you just see this upsurge again of the whole thing. And we're getting all generations now because even though Alien Earth is bringing the younger ones in now, in the conventions, I'm getting like 3 generations. I'm getting their grandparents, their children, and now their children. So, you know, we've got 3 generations coming to see me. And, you know, the kids are now seeing this film when they're about 8 years old. We had to be 18, you know, when it came out. It's, you know, that's how things have changed, which is great for me. You know, just see the whole family. It's a family thing. You can, and it's brought families together. This whole, especially the sons with their fathers with their sons. It seems to be a contact for them to build that relationship between father and son, which is great. Power to the aliens, you know.
Well, it's one of those films too. It's sci-fi horror. But it's a movie for the most part a family can watch together where they're not too worried about their young kids, but it does have the scary thing.
But nowadays, there's language going around left, right, and centre that, you know, before we couldn't say certain words. Now it's sort of, I think it's in the dictionary now, so all those words can be said. So, yeah, and I think if the children are supported while watching the film, I don't see a problem with that. I think you don't build it up to scare the kids. You just say, right, we'll go and watch Aliens tonight, and you know, they usually cope with it. Don't want to scare these little kids, do we?
Well, some of them enjoy it. I loved being scared as a kid. Like, I grew up and that was
it's
like,
part of it, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the problem is, Carly, out of that outfit, you're not a scary guy at all. You're just one of the nicest guys ever. So you might make it a little easier for those kids having nightmares. See, I'm a good guy.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I used to get scared at Doctor Who. I don't know if you've seen the original ones. You watch them now, you think, why was I scared? You know, the Daleks and everything. But, you know, things have changed. So.
Yeah. I mean, what scared me as a kid, Psycho and movies like that, might not have the same effect or impact it did on the other kids because everything now is attention span is shorter with the, you know, technology, and everything's got to be quick and happen right away. There's no patience for the build up.
I think that's what's interesting about the horror, the whole horror scene. Everyone has their own horror. Like I know in the like I'm talking about Aliens again, but the water scene that does tend to scare children because you have a monster, you have they're scared of water, there's a child in it, and you know, those things together. That's you know, children's sort of horror. But then someone else will have something else that scares them. So I think that's why the horror scene can be quite vast because everyone has their own horror. You know, some people are scared of heights. Or you know, spiders or whatever. So you know, I think that's great. So it's
that alien scene though is definitely iconic. One of the greatest shots ever, if you ask me. And just one of the greatest shots, just with you coming out of the water behind you.
It worked well. Yeah, it did on screen. That's and often these things with James, especially with James Cameron, you didn't know. You were told to do these things. You work on it a bit. We work with Carrie a bit, and it has to be done quickly. He tells you what you want, and you just try and do the best, and he sees what he wants, and then we move on to the next one. But we spent over half a day on that scene, but it paid off. But he'd do things you think, well, that's not going to look like anything, and then you see it on screen, you think, oh yeah, he was right.
The only real suffering in the scene, though, if I remember from you telling me, was really you had to suffer through a lot in that outfit in the water. It was
oh well, yeah, they didn't really adapt it to water. You know, the head just stuck to the bottom of the tank, and no one sort of realised that I wasn't coming up because James Cameron tapped on the side of the pool for me to come up. Well, I didn't because my head was stuck on the floor, and I just couldn't drag it out because it's filled with water. And eventually, someone realised, oh, it's been a bit, he's been down there a long time. He should have been up, and they came and picked me up. But I think they just cut a hole in the side of the head eventually, so the water drained through as I dragged my head up.
Brain drain.
But health and safety didn't exist in those days. You just drown.
So this year we got Missouri HorrorCon. I know you've got a few places you're going this year too, Carl, while you're in the
Yeah,
States.
I've got another one, Monster Expo. That's further north.
Great guy. I've been there.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. And another one I can't say anything about that yet because it hasn't been announced. So I don't want to.
Got to keep it on the lockdown.
But that's way down south somewhere.
So
yeah,
Joey,
sorry?
Go ahead. Oh, you go ahead.
No, I just, when I do this, because I come over for about a month each time, and so I get a chance to see the States, which you have a great country. I love it. The country, the countries, and the people. Certain things that are not perfect, but a lot of it I enjoy.
I didn't realize you were a dancer because you did a good job dancing around that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that was how it all started, really. I went to stage school, dance. That was it. Well, it was mainly dance school. We did theatre, singing, and everything. So yeah.
There could have been other Xenos, but Carl killed it in the role. So
yeah.
One.
Well, when we went for the audition, it was they said they were going to need about 13 or 14 people, aliens. So I think we did about 4 auditions altogether. And when I walked in the first one, it was just like the studio was just packed. So let's just go home. But I stuck with it because I'd never been into a film studio before. And over the weeks, I got nearer and nearer to the goal, and they finished. I think there was about 20 of us left, and they just said, "All right, we've got your names and addresses. You can go home now." And as I got home, my agent called and said, "Oh, you've got the job for Aliens." I said, "Oh, who else got it?" Because I knew some of the others, and they said, "No, they've just taken one on." So that was.
And how iconic that came out. And we talked about sequels back in the day because you didn't really expect sequels to be as good as they are.
Well, no, in those days they weren't really working very well. I can't remember. They just sequels were a bit of a joke in those times, and I think even Sigourney was sort of having a bit of a hesitation about doing the second one. And I think once she'd spoken to James Cameron and the script and everything, she was fine. But that sort of.
My mom's hoping it's Florida. She's here. She's hoping it's Florida because she's out there. But she's going to see in Missouri, and this is going to be Missouri as well, right?
They come. Oh yeah, they'll be there with it.
It's going to. I think you're going to enjoy it out here. It's very relaxed and laid back. And
that's
a lot of country. What we like. Yeah, it's a little. It'll give you a real experience of the Midwest, and.
Yeah, well, I haven't done the middle really. I've really done the East Coast, gone down the East Coast. I was with you in Lexington last year, so.
While you're in Missouri, you'll have to go to Branson. You'll probably like it. They got a lot of musical theater there.
Okay.
Where musicians and dancing and singing and the whole thing. You'd probably really like it out in Branson. Okay. So maybe if you're there a few extra days, maybe I'll hit Branson with you.
Yeah, see what we're up to.
Bring the family. My parents love it out there too.
Right.
I was just telling. I don't know if you heard Joey about Branson while he's here. I think you should definitely check that out after or before.
Maybe.
So what's your contact with horror and Comic Cons originally, Joey?
So my entry into horror. So I grew up in what I like to call the buckle of the Bible Belt. Right. So down here in Springfield. So for me, the way into horror wasn't directly through horror. It was through horror comedies like Young Frankenstein, Abbott and Costello, Meet Frankenstein, like that. And then again, Aliens being a sci-fi film, but it's also horror. So it was kind of a roundabout way. And then once you're in, you get sucked in. You want to see everything at that point. What all have I missed? And so you're going back to the 70s. You're going, early 80s stuff.
It's never ending, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some of these black and white ones, the old ones, the 50s, 60s. They really get me.
Yeah, that was where I kind of started. Once I got into it, I was like, all right, let's go back. Let's go all the way back to Universal's stuff with all the James Whale made films and stuff. And that's again, because those are horror films. They're monster movies, but also, Frankenstein's a romance, really. Dracula's the sleazy side of a romance, more lust driven, but it's, but they're all, they're not explicitly horror. You don't see, you don't see blood and guts and stuff. And like you were saying with Aliens, if you can get through the first film, I mean, Aliens is kind of a breeze to get through. There's a lot less gore, a lot less, of that shocking, jump scare type stuff. So
there's more suspense in the Aliens, I think, than
and it's more character driven. I mean, yes, Alien was, but by the time you get to Aliens, you've got this entire, this whole troop of people with their own distinct personalities. You're talking about Jeanette with her, character and just that bond they have. It's
incredible. Yeah. And I get that from the fans when they come and see it, and a lot of them relate to one of the characters in the film. They said, "Oh, Jeanette's helped me get through my childhood. As an adolescent, I was a bit of a tomboy as a girl, and she helped me. Just thinking about her helped me get through my adolescence, and that's it. People relate to different characters in it, which is it's great if you can do that with a character. It's, great. I don't think I've influenced anyone or helped anyone.
I don't know. There may be somebody out there, but that's part of it too, though. It's, I have to imagine for someone like you who we never see your face in the film. So guys like you, Nick Castle, the folks who are the man behind the mask, Kane, it's got to be a different experience, especially getting into conventions like you're talking about. Like, is anybody even going to know who I am? But then they come up.
Like I said at the beginning, my first one was in Germany. And I just really went along as not as joke, just to see what it was all about, because I'd never been to convention, and I was amazed. This and the fans they're really up on all these films. They know every detail. They knew, because I hadn't really watched the film since I'd done it. I'd probably seen the film about 3 times before the convention, and they were asking me questions and or telling me things about the film, and I said, "Oh, okay, yeah." I remember that. They know a lot about it.
The frame by frames, like Frederick. That guy seen every frame and studied each thing in that movie. Spent hours upon hours with it, which is amazing.
All the details. There's things like when I come out of the water, there's something with one of the tubes at the back. Apparently, it moves with the weight of the water, and I hadn't even noticed that. This was a big thing for him. He said that. He saw that and he thought it was a mistake. And I said, well, it's a flexible part of the alien's body,
They can rotate.
Yeah, they see all the details.
They do. They really do. And to top it off with the Alien and Aliens cast, talk about 2 great sets of casts right there. I mean, that was pretty amazing with both of the casts that they had. But I think with you going to the cons now, it's just like with Kane Hodder and all them. Probably when they did it, they never thought their faces would be seen. And yours is starting to get recognized more and more because the fans do love the guy who played the Alien Warrior or Jason or Michael Myers, and they love to meet him. And a lot of them have all this alien stuff. I can't count how many times at Scarefest. It's like, I've been dying to meet you. I got everybody except for you. And not only being behind the mask and getting known now, you're in France. So a lot of the people in the States are just getting a chance to get you on their autograph thing. And that's a big deal.
Fresh blood.
That's a big deal, though. That really is. It's a big deal for collectors, too, to have that, because not everybody does.
Well, I'd be pretty honored, because some of them come with these, the full posters when the film came out, and they've got everyone else on it. And they said, we've just been waiting for your autograph. And it's like, wow. It's mind-blowing, to me. But there you go.
It happened at least 4 or 5 times in Scarefest. I can only imagine the other ones that people are like, oh, gotta meet the Alien Warrior. And I love it. I love seeing, like I said, one of my favorite parts of Scarefest last year was just watching you and the fans and how excited they were to meet the Alien Warrior, the guy behind the mask that and getting to know who played it. And
Yeah.
plus, like I said, you're a great guy too, and the fans really enjoy the interaction because you'll sit there and talk to them about it. I mean, that's a great thing.
I'm there for them. It's that's what it's about.
But even when they'll ask you things, like you said, they'll teach you things that you didn't even realize. But it gives them a chance to hear you.
It's a really strong exchange we have. I think it's great. Love it.
Yeah, it was really good. Like I said, that was my favorite part about Scarefest. I'm excited to see it again at Missouri HorrorCon, especially with some of the other cast. I think Aliens fans are going to have a great time. Then you got Nightmare on Elm Street. Then you got Lindsay Wagner and Lee Majors.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's got a great lineup. Yeah.
Stacked. Yeah. Scout Taylor Compton. Who else am I missing that you guys got?
Well, do we want to do some breaking news? Do we want to do an exclusive?
Okay. I'm ready for some breaking news. What about you, Carl?
Okay.
Definitely.
So this will be announced sometime next week, I believe, sometime after the Labor Day holiday. But you mentioned Scout. And of course, we can't bring Scout in without also bringing in Danielle Harris. She'll be with us as well. So I know they do kind of their own little horror podcast. Of course, Halloween, both of them Halloween alumni. So yeah, it's we'll have both of them there at this weekend. So
great.
Actually, one of one of my good friends is an artist, Michael Toth, who did like these skateboard decks. He did a piece of Talk Scary to Me, and I gave it to him when I saw him. And they actually had it in their podcast for a long time. I don't know if they still got it there, but yeah, they're a lot of fun. The fans are going to great announcement. Scout and Danielle are so much fun, and anybody who hasn't met them, and the fact you're bringing them to Missouri Springfield, you couldn't meet two nicer ladies. They're really, really good, and they're a lot of fun.
And they get it. They understand what this is. They understand what this genre means to people. They, it's one thing to be working in the industry, but to also be fans of the genre and fans of the fans of the genre. So yeah, the fact that they get it is why they're a great ticket. Something great to add to a show.
That's really cool. You're bringing both of them. Are you going to try to do a Talk Scary to Me podcast, or you haven't gotten that far?
I don't know if we're going to do a podcast recording. I'm pretty sure we're going to have them on the stage together for like a Q&A, which may just be me handing them the mics and walking away and letting them do their own thing, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's still kind of, we still got time. Look, I got like 3 shows between now and then, so I don't know exactly how that one's going to turn out just yet. But yeah, we're going to get there. We'll have them up there. We'll do something fun with them, I'm sure.
Like I said, I do the panels in Memphis, so it's cool to see you do it, and I'm sure we could relate on this. How cool is it when you get up on stage and you just get to talk to these people in front of people about what they're doing and what they love to do? It's just so cool to actually be the one asking them some questions and being able to do what you do. So I know that's got to be like the big perk with all the hard work you got to put in with everything else. But panels are so much fun to do. And you got now you got Talk Scary to Me you get to talk to. You got the Aliens cast to talk to. The Bionic Man and the Bionic Woman, plus Ashley Evil Dead with Lee Majors. I mean, that's pretty cool.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Lisa Wilcox, one of the nicest, sweetest people ever. I've met her several times and couldn't be any nicer. So fans are going to love her. I mean, all the guests that you have that I've actually met, really nice. Michael Bean, we actually met at the first Doomsday's Crypt Con ever. He was at the first show. So him and Jennifer Blanc were there. So it'll be good to see them again.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had Michael and Jeanette before, and it's funny because their agent was with them, and at one point during the Q&A, she was like, why are they only asking alien questions? I'm like, well, that's the only thing they've really been in together. I mean, we could talk other stuff. We could talk Terminator stuff because they've both, been killed by a Terminator, but it's like you have them there together. We're not going to veer off into Tombstone. We have both of these guys. So yeah.
And I think that if they want to veer off, they will. They want to bring it into the conversation, they will bring it in. So it's how do you work out your questions? Do you try and find original questions? That must be.
So my strategy has been this: it is do all the research, know where the stories are. Mm-hmm. And then know what people are going to ask. Like when we have everybody up on the stage, they're going to ask the aliens questions, and somebody will have a Tombstone question, and somebody will have a Terminator question. And but so I tend to try to find something else to kind of do as an icebreaker, kind of like, let's talk about this other thing first, and
Yeah.
get the guests kind of comfortable, like, okay, wow, I can settle
Where
in.
did
This is
that
something
come
I'm
from?
passionate about. Yeah. And then I just shut up. I stop and just turn it over
Right.
to the audience, because they're the ones that paid their hard-earned money to be here.
Right.
So I want to get through as many of their questions as we can. And then if there's an answer and I know there's a more to the answer, there's a story that can be, I will try to pull on those strings a little bit and get our guests to tell us the rest of that story. But yeah, my job as I see it is to stay out of the way, get everybody comfortable, lay out the ground rules, and then just shut up and stay out of the way and let people ask their questions, because they are the ones, really, like you said, it's all fan driven.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
how they're not going to be, Michael and Jeanette and you, everybody we're bringing out are not likely going to be in Springfield again in the near future.
Right.
So let the fans talk to them, even in a setting like a Q&A. That's kind of the way I approach it.
Yeah, that's good. It's good way of doing it. Yeah. I look forward to
it. Michael Toth, the artist I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Then we also got, you said big indie fan as well. Peter Anthony's out there killing it. I don't know if you know who Peter is, but he did Roseblood. He's working on Laugh, which is a really cool looking movie. He just did The Death of Snow White with Jason Brooks. So welcome to the show. I'll be having him on soon. We were talking. So great indie guy. And Michael Toth, thank you guys for being here. I didn't mean to cut you guys off. Wanted to give a big shout out to them, since you guys love the indie. It's cool. Do you have any indie people you're excited to be meeting? I know you seem like a big fan. Is there somebody that's going to be there? Not just the big guests like the aliens. Is there like some indie films that you've seen that you're excited they're there, or not yet?
I don't know about indie so much, but a film that I absolutely love that never really got the respect it deserved, including a proper release, was Trick or Treat. I was a big fan of the anthology stuff, going back to Creep Show, all that. So to have Quinn Lord there, who was Sam, that's going to be a lot of fun. And just to talk about what it was, it's a great holiday film, and only now are people really starting to work it into the rotation on like the AMC, some of those networks and stuff that do kind of their Halloween themed programming in October. So to see it finally starting to get a little bit of the recognition that it deserved when it was filmed and should have been released on time, but studio politics are what they are. But yeah, to be able to talk about that and see how that has become, he's become a horror icon. But but again, this film was not really supported at the time. So to get to talk to him about that and how that perception, how that has changed in his life recently, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about.
Have you ever been in a film?
What's that?
Has Joey ever been in one of a horror film?
It was not horror, but yes, we have a pretty good, we have a sizable independent film scene. So yeah, I have helped out some friends, that kind of thing. Like, yes, I can give you my Saturday. I thought this was only going to be 6 hours. Why are we at hour 14 and still not finished? Yeah. So yes, I have done a little bit. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a good way to get your foot in the door with the indie community. I've seen a lot of people do really, really well with it.
Yeah. Well, and you make those connections again. Back in February, we had, again, horror adjacent. We had Holly Marie Combs from Charmed was there. She was doing a Q&A, and one of our local indie filmmakers had a question. So she approached the microphone, asked her question, and started to walk away. So we were able to like, wait, hold on, stop. Let's talk about, the local indie film scene and, what's going on. Well, we're trying to get distribution for this one, blah, blah, blah. So to be able to have those connections and to know kind of what's going on, I feel like you kind of have to, like, I've got all the streaming services because I have to do research. At least that's the way I tell the tax guy that's why I'm writing these off, because this is work related, guys, as I'm sitting down watching Halloween 4 and 5 back to back or whatever. So yeah,
it is. But if there's one app you need and it's free, it's Tubi. I mean, as we got Tubi, you're in good shape when it comes to indie. They're really good. I mean, it's my go-to. I mean, I pay for all these services like you. It's like, man, Tubi's got some of the best stuff out there.
And just that resurgence that, I mean, horror never really leaves. And when I'm trying to do my dance around this as well. When there are socioeconomic political upheavals happening in society, you know, horror is kind of the outlet for a lot of those anxieties that people feel. So, you know, we're seeing the resurgence, even like just like the horror, the live horror hosting again, like the Svengulis, the Joe Bobs, that kind of stuff. You know, we're starting to see kind of like, yes, people are leaning into the horror more and more, and it's kind of feels like it's having a bit of a resurgence right now in just in pop culture in general. So yeah, it's been interesting to watch that as well.
It's become even more, year round than it was. It was always kind of an October theme, September, October theme. And that was, for the most part, most of what you'd see with horror. Now it's year round with the conventions, with the movies coming out. It's not just those October releases and stuff. Horror's been very steady. And even Hollywood's kind of got on board with a lot of it, which they usually aren't. But I think Terrifier 2, when it hit the movie theater, really broke that open as well.
Yeah, and I think even going back all the way to like Scream being a counter seasonal, it was a Christmas movie, you know, and it really, the word of mouth built into January and into February. And, you know, January, February used to be where studios would just dump the stuff that they had purchased at the festival or whatever, stuff that was not going to be a major audience draw. But now we're seeing horror films. I think the most recent Scream film was a January or February release, and it has done well as well. So yeah, it is. I tell my wife, like, Halloween starts on the 5th of July in our house. So
it's always October here. Always.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. I'm really excited that you guys are bringing horror to the area in October, even though it is October, which is still the best time to be celebrating.
It made sense to do it right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It works out from what you guys explained and the guest list you got this year. Like we were talking about the aliens, Lee Majors, and I mean, you guys really, it's not 150 guests or nothing, but you guys got a really great list of guests between Daniel Harriscout, Taylor Compton, Lisa Wilcox, the man below us here, and the rest of the cast. I mean, I'm excited about the whole thing, and the fact that Carl's going to be able to meet my guys. He's met my parents before.
Yeah.
Is really cool that's in the area. And one of my guys is a huge Aliens fan. So I've been telling him Carl's coming. I showed Carl the picture. I go into his room before I was taking a day off, and he's got his big alien picture that he bought out, ready to be signed in October already. So
definitely.
Since he doesn't talk, I never know how much he really loves it. I know he loves it because he picked it out at the video store where he still had one in the area. And I
can't wait to meet him.
Oh, he's so excited, Carl. He cannot wait.
Let's make his day.
This convention is going to be interesting because it's the first time we're doing this where we didn't want to abandon the folks that show up year after year for the anime thing as well. So it's actually this Missouri Horror Con. We're also running Missouri Anime Fest in the same venue at the same time. You buy one ticket, whichever one, and you can go to both. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that mix because even anime has a lot of horror. You know, there are a lot of horror related anime. So it'll be interesting to see how the two sides mingle.
Well, with sci-fi too, with the aliens, that's a big branch on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think that will work.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be an interesting dynamic. I don't expect to see any rumbles in the parking lot, you know, between the horror fans and the anime fans, but
horror, horror.
It'd be, you know,
big brawl.
Yeah, it'd be like West Side Story.
Springfield News.
Yeah, yes, both stations will be there. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. And like I said, I've been to the anime show, and the fact that you're adding on the horror this year is really, really cool. And like you were saying, you're not sure, but you got a Lee Majors, which the Fall Guy, the $6 Million Man.
That's huge.
Or even with horror, because he was just in Ash and the Evil Dead, or Ash vs. the Evil Dead, and that was hilarious, and he was great in there. So he's got a little bit of both, but that reaches that end over there, and everybody loves Lee Majors. I don't care if you're a horror fan or not. If you don't like Lee Majors, there's something wrong with you.
Well, and, you know, we understand that the anime crowd's a younger crowd. So a lot of times we've seen at some of our anime shows, you know, they'll be brought by an adult because somebody has to drive them there. And sometimes the adults are, you know, like, this is not for me. But if you've got like Lindsay Wagner and Lee Major over here, it's like, okay, you kids go have fun. Here's the amount of money you can spend. I'm going to go hang out over here at the stage. A lot of times a lot of the adults will hang out at the stage and just listen to the Q&As. And
Yeah.
You know, some of them are that's what they come for is that, yeah, I'll drop the kids off. They can go shop. They can go do their anime thing. They can go play video games or whatever. I'm just going to sit here at the stage and be entertained.
I think that, and also because, like I said, they are safe places, so
Mhm.
you can do that. You know, can just let your kids go off and, you know, let them
It really is safe. I mean,
let them go.
it is a big point to bring up for people who think HorrorCon or never been to a convention, how close families really are. Like even my parents, here's my mom here. You would never think she'd be into conventions, but she absolutely loves socializing with the people. But even more surprising is how much my dad likes it too. My dad will drive all the way from Florida for these conventions. And they're not, you know, they're in their 70s, but they love it. And I love spending the time with them and the way I get to bring my family together, even my guys who are family. I've been working with them a long time and getting to see the families. And as a vendor, somebody who's able to, maybe if I see something a father can't afford, so I'm that type of guy to make sure they get that memory out of the experience.
Yeah.
There's those father-son family moments, father-daughter, mom-son, that you get to experience. And that's what really makes the convention special. And that's why I really enjoyed Carl, because he did add, guests like Carl are the ones who just add that experience. I know a Scout and Danielle, they are both like that. Lisa Wilcox is the same way. The people that I've met have been amazing. I know like Michael Bean's coming with his wife, Jennifer Blanc, who's very, very sweet. Like I said, I met them at our first con. Couldn't be any nicer. Yeah, you got just some great guests that are really great at interacting. And you'd think all of them would be, and most of them are, but it doesn't, you know.
It doesn't always translate. Yeah. Well, and that's part of, you know, when we're trying to put together a convention and our focus is let's bring the big con experience to a smaller market, not a small market. You know, there's a lot of people in and around Springfield, you know, 500,000 folks, but it's a smaller market. So there's a different feel when you go to one of our conventions in a place like Springfield, Little Rock, Birmingham, Jackson, Mississippi, where, you know, we want to bring guests that are going to mesh well with the attendees. And so we typically don't bring some of those folks that have a reputation for being a little harder to deal with, or maybe they just have a rough time sometimes with the fans. And so, yeah, we try to focus on, you know, it is an all ages event. Kids 10 and under get in for free at our event. So, you know, we do want everybody to bring the family, have a good time, but also to be able to interact with people who you're not going to walk away reminded of that old adage of, you know, don't meet your heroes.
Well, I think,
kind of thing. We don't want that.
People are going to be so excited to be coming because it's something that doesn't happen often in their town. So they don't want a bad experience. They just, you know, no one wants bad experience, but you know, like you said, you'll just make it as easy as possible for everyone. They can come in and just enjoy it. You know, it's
well, I mean, if you've got a convention in New York City, you know, you can you'll have guests that, you know, maybe a little saltier that can get away with that in New York or Chicago. But if they're coming to Springfield, we want people that are going to be friendly and interact with our audience. And so, we do try to make sure we book not divas.
Well, in the guests you got, I mean, they're not guests that are showing up everywhere. Lee Majors and Lindsay Wagner aren't showing up everywhere. That's a rare one. Even Carl coming from France, that's a rare one too. Some of them do a whole bunch of cons, and you get a little bit of more of a chance to meet them. But you guys got a lot of people that, you know, might be the only chance somebody gets to meet them. And you guys are bringing it to Missouri, which is really cool.
Yeah, the one thing I'm most looking forward to that weekend is going to be the costume contest on Saturday, because it is open. So we will have a pretty solid mix of anime and horror. So it's going to be kind of fun to see how the costume contest goes, because we're not doing two. We're not doing one for the horror crowd and one for the anime crowd. It's one convention, one contest. So
there goes the brawl. Now you just started it.
It'll get weird, I'm sure.
Create your own troubles,
Yeah. So I'll take care of the kids, and that's the first round, and then I will walk off the stage and let somebody else handle the rest of the MC duties.
That'd be great.
The costume contests are fun. I always love seeing the cosplays, just like the Alien Queen we saw at Scarefest. The ones who walk around on stilts still blow my mind. I mean, I can't walk without, you know, with no stilts, and these guys are cruising around like it's no problem through crowds with them.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm certain we'll see some xenomorphs in the costume contest.
Yeah.
I'm certain we'll see some, load lifters. I'm certain we'll see some Five Nights at Freddy's. Those types of
Yeah.
things that you can kind of just plan on
Sam,
seeing at a general convention, but especially at a horror themed convention.
Sam Trick or Treat. I mean, it's like you were saying about that. It is popular. I think I might have a few trick or treat things I'll bring down there that are cool, but they don't stand the table. I mean, the kids love to dress up like Sam, so that merchandise really goes really well. And for whatever reason, like you said, it's one of those cult classics that really wasn't like. I mean, I think it's a film that most horror fans can enjoy no matter what.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was just a terrible release, the whole thing. I think it was nowadays they would have known what they had, but I think back then it just they didn't have the confidence in the horror, especially, it always has its waves, but it seems stronger than ever right now.
And it had been a minute since like a proper anthology was released like that. So I could understand maybe some, but did anybody at the studio watch the film? because this is a if that had been an October release that year, then we would be talking about it as one of the biggest, horror releases, I think. But
it was like that for me when I watched it. It was like, man, this movie's great, and did it even really have a theatrical release?
I think it did just enough to check that box on the contract that said, "Yep, we released it in 3 theaters for 2 days," and so
nobody went to see it. We don't know what happened.
Yeah, I can't imagine that one theater in Albuquerque that we dumped it in on a Friday afternoon that nobody went and saw it.
No.
But it's cool. To be able for the fans to meet Trick or Treat. I want to say Miko. It's not Miko. It's is it Miko Hughes? No, that's Miko's from Pet Cemetery. I'm thinking Quinn Lord.
Yeah, Quinn.
Sorry, I get a little bit tongue twisted on the two of them. They were both young at the time, and they're both great on the convention tour. So it's really cool. And that was a recent announcement. Didn't you guys announce somebody else? And I'm hoping it was you guys, but I think there was. Who else did you guys?
We may have. I don't know. It's been, like I said.
I'm trying to remember. I should pull it up, which is makes sense.
Did we mention we have announced Sean Patrick Flannery will be
that's
there.
That's who I wanted to mention. That's great. That's awesome because I really enjoy his work, and that's a big name right there too.
Yeah. So
he's done some amazing stuff.
Yep. So it's and that's another one where yes, it's a horror convention, but we also don't want to just pigeonhole it to it's if you're only going to enjoy this if you're a horror fan, like like I said, Lee Majors, you can talk about the Fall Guy, or whatever. It's not. Yes, there are horror things too, but we can ask him about Bigfoot, or whatever. So, but we want to kind of bring in some folks like Sean, who's got a range of credits across multiple genres as well. So
he's got some great films. Boondock Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love that.
The first one.
I'm excited about that. Yeah, for the second one, I still haven't finished. The first one was awesome, though.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And I thought that was a great announcement. So that was the one I was trying to remember, too. I'm like, they announced somebody else that's really awesome. I can't think of who it was, and you named it. So, that's a great guess right there. I think, I'm looking forward to meeting him and at least getting an autograph from him because I'm a big fan of a lot of his work. And that's a good announcement. You guys got a lot. I mean, I might wind up spending more money than I bring in because of the guests we got.
Well, and we're still 6 or 7 weeks out. There are a few more guests. Like I meant, Danielle will get announced next week officially, but there are some others as well. So if people are watching the websites and the social medias, you're going to see a few more announcements as well.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be it's going to be an awesome show. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing weekend. I can't wait to see my family, my friends, my guys, of course, Carl. And seeing you in person. I think I've met you at the other ones, but you know how it is. You meet so many different people. You can't remember who was just over 5 minutes ago sometimes when it gets a little crazy.
It is, but at the same time, too, like we've been doing this for a while and we hit the same cities like Springfield. This is, twice in the same year. So there comes a point where like our next show is going to be in Little Rock in 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know everybody's names, but I know there are certain people I'm going to see there because they're there every year. So it's interesting to see, you'll have people that you'll see them a couple of years and then you won't see them for a year or two, and then you'll find out why they got married and had a baby. So now they're bringing the baby to the conventions and stuff. So it's always fun to kind of get those life updates from the attendees as well.
Yeah,
the new generation, as you said, Carl.
Yeah. Bring him in.
Absolutely.
So good. But we're gonna have to talk Alien Earth sometime. We gotta get the Xeno, the alien warrior, his input on it, even though he says he's not a pro, but he's the guy who played him first. So we're gonna have to see what he thinks. And we've talked about a few things leading into Missouri. We want to talk more and help support the show on our end with Facebook and Carl being there, the aliens, and all these great guests. And I can't thank you guys both for taking enough time. I wish I could go on longer, but I unfortunately got to pick up one of my guys in a few minutes. I promised him a nice coffee, and he'll get a little crickety if I don't get it done. But I'll leave you guys with the final words. If there's anything you'd like to say, Joey, before we end the stream, and then
just come out and visit with us. It's October, what is that weekend? 11th and 12th and 13th. The dates run together, but go to MissouriHorrorCon.com.
The second weekend in Missouri. That's all.
That's
I
right.
know.
Yeah. I know it's the third. So we have a show, a weekend off, a weekend off, and then we're in Missouri. So, which is nice because I get to sleep in my own bed for the first time in like 6 weeks. So it'll be fun.
That'll be nice. And
Carl,
Carl,
looking forward to a great weekend and meeting everyone, meeting a new crowd of friends, and that meeting your guys, your families, meeting Joey for real, and that'd be great. It can be a great weekend. I'm
not going to announce that guest. So, sorry, I was reading the screen as we were going here.
All right.
all right. So they already got another planned one. I can't wait to see what you guys unveil. We said, like you said, we still got a couple months before we get there. It'll be here before we know it. But, guys, check out Missouri Horror Con. You can find them on Facebook. You guys are on Instagram as well, I believe.
Yep. Facebook, Instagram. Those are the only two we really engage with. But, yeah.
And, make sure you check out Alien Warrior Carl Toop and keep an eye on what he's up to. And I know we're all excited to see everybody there. I can't wait for the show and can't wait to see my family, my parents. They're driving out here to spend basically the October run with me. So it's going to be a lot of fun and just really excited. And I thank everybody for tuning in. It was awesome you did the Danielle Harris announcement, and really looking forward to the next one you guys got up your sleeve. But guys, thank you. And until next time, peace out.
Joey.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Joey.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you.